Conditionals with modals. Spotting and correcting the errors. Hello, English language learners. Today we're going to dive deep into the fascinating world of conditionals with modals. We're going to focus specifically on how to identify and correct mistakes. By the end of this video, you'll have sharpened your skills in identifying these errors and you'll be able to fix them smoothly. So, let's get started. In English grammar, we often use modal verbs in conditional sentences. Modal verbs express necessity, possibility, or ability. These include words like could, would, should, might, and so on. When they're combined with conditionals, they can express even more complex ideas and hypothetical situations. For instance, in a second conditional sentence, we could say, if I had more time, I could learn to play the guitar. The modal verb, could, here indicates a hypothetical possibility. Spotting errors in conditional sentences with modals can be tricky, but practice makes perfect. The most common mistakes are using the wrong verb tense or using the wrong modal verb. For example, let's take the sentence, if I will have enough money, I could buy a car. The first part of the sentence uses the future tense, will have, which is incorrect in this type of conditional sentence. The correct sentence should be, if I had enough money, I could buy a car. Now let's apply what we've learned with some exercises. 1. If he will work harder, he might get promoted. 2. Correction. If he worked harder, he might get promoted. 3. If they could understand the problem, they would finding a solution. 4. Correction. If they could understand the problem, they would find a solution. Here are a few tips to keep in mind when working with conditional sentences with modals. Always check your verb tenses. Conditionals often involve more than one tense, so make sure they match the type of conditional sentence you're using. Use the right modal verb. Each modal verb expresses a different degree of certainty, ability, or advice, so pick the one that best fits your meaning. Well, that's a wrap for today's lesson on conditionals with modals, spotting and correcting the errors. With some practice, you'll be a pro at catching these errors and correcting them in no time. Remember, learning a language is a journey, so keep practicing and stay curious. Until our next lesson, happy learning!